Hey, what's going on, guys? Arena Docs channel back here for another review video. This time is going to be commons and uncommons in the multicolor slot. So this is going to be largely a draft video. We're not going to look at the rares or mythics, just commons and uncommons, and think about how playable they might be in Crimson Vow Limited. And if you're interested in more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, first we've got the Ancient Lumber Knot. So two, a black and a green for a creature tree folk, and he's a 1/4. So each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So at baseline, just face value with no enablers, this is going to be a 4/4 creature functionally. And if you have other creatures that are going to benefit from this ability, it only can go up from there. The thing I like about the ability that it has is it's not a reversal for all of your creatures. It's only when it's in your advantage. So if you are able to get one or two creatures that this is really going to benefit, like there's the one black zombie that's a 1/13 for 5 mana, then this is going to be insane. If you can really take advantage of those, that's great. At its worst, it's going to be a 4/4 if you don't have any other creatures that benefit from the ability. So it's not the sort of thing you're really going to want to build around all the time, because you're not always going to have this guy. He's vulnerable to removal, as any creature is, but the odd time you're going to have fun getting this guy to go off. Okay, next we got the Blood Tithe Harvester. This guy is a creature vampire for a black and a red. He's a 3/2 at baseline. When he enters the battlefield, you get a blood token. And at sorcery speed, you can sacrifice him by tapping, and target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control, and again, only as a sorcery. So 3/2 for 2 is above market value. That's not too bad as it is. He'll often trade up with that 3 power, and it gets you a blood token, and he's a vampire. So there's a couple of synergies there. If you have a deck built around having more blood tokens and more vampires, you're going to get value from that. And then if you do accrue a lot of these blood tokens, he's going to be able to take down a creature as a removal. So I like his multifunctionality. He covers a lot of different ground here, and I think overall he's going to be an above average creature if you can enable him, if you can cast him, I should say, because the 2-color requirement at only 2 mana is going to be tough. You have to have exactly those 2 mana to play him as a 2-drop, which is going to be more difficult and limited without having dual lands. But overall, if you can play this guy, you're going to want him. Next, we have Child of the Pack. 2 red and green for a creature, human werewolf, who's a 2/5. So the ability here is fantastic. So it's 2, a red and a green to create a 2/2 green werewolf creature token. And this creature is daybound. So without even looking at the back, this is fantastic. This is highly defensive, a 2/5, but in limited, this is going to be value all day. You're going to create an army of 2/2s. You're often late game going to have those, that extra 4 mana available. As soon as you get up to 8 mana, you can do 2 of these in 1 turn. So I really like this face side of it. I think this is going to be, one of the better. If you can have a functional red and green deck, this is going to be one of your better creatures. Now we'll go to the back side, and this is now a 5/5 trample, and other creatures you control get +1/+0. Now the interesting thing here is that this is a totally functionally different card than the front. So what I mean specifically is most of the time when you have a werewolf, the werewolf side compared to the human werewolf is going to be usually that same card and the same effects, just better versions of it. Like for example, in this case, I might have guessed like it could create a 3/2 or a 4/2 wolf, creature token when it was on the other side. But in this case, you can't make the tokens at all. So this backside is good. A 5/5 trample certainly is good and makes your other creatures more effective. However, you're going to lose that ability to make those creature tokens. So there's actually going to be circumstances where you would rather this card be a human werewolf rather than the werewolf side. So kind of an interesting duality there. But overall, very, very strong card. Okay, next we got the Markov Purifier for 1 white and black. You've got a vampire cleric who is a 2/3 with lifelink. So even without the ability, that's not bad. 2/3 lifelink for 3, that's okay. And the ability at the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, you can pay 2. If you do, draw a card. That's obviously fantastic. I mean, if you have a life gain deck, this is going to be a keystone card. So this is probably the card prior to this was, I would say very strong. This is going to be off the charts. If you can activate this consistently, this is going to be, a must remove card instantly as soon as you get it down, because you're going to take the game away with card advantage. Okay, another two-faced card. This is the Brine Comer. So it costs 1, a blue, and a white for a creature spirit who is a 1/1 at baseline. When it enters the battlefield or becomes the target of an aura spell, specifically, not just any spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, and you can disturb this. And so without looking at the disturb, and just as a spoiler, the disturb basically is just give a creature this same ability. This is fine. You know, if this is obviously meant to be in the deck that has the disturbs with the auras, where you're going to be doing that on a routine basis. You've got a lot of things in your graveyard, you're going to bring it back, and this is going to just augment the value that you're already getting from disturbing those cards and creating tons of 1/1 white spirit flyers. And those 1/1 spirit flyers can be very potent in limited. So we'll go to the back side. So like I said, enchanted creature enters the when it enters the battlefield or enchanted creature becomes the target of an aura spell, create a 1/1 spirit token with flying. So you do get the value right when you cast it as the disturb cost, and the disturb cost is only 2. So I think overall this is a very good card, especially in that archetype. This is going to be really good. If you have an army of 1/1 flyers, I mean that will be a massive advantage in a limited game. So I do like this card overall. Okay, next we have one of the wedding guests. So we have the Markov Waltzer. So he's 2, a red, and a white for a creature vampire. 1/3 with flying and haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 2 target creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So he's going to be a 2/3 a lot of the time. 2/3 flying haste. Then you give another creature +1/+0. So very much shoulder shrug. You know, he's not going to be taking over the game. This is not going to be a card you're going to really build around. This is again going to be kind of the guy that you want on your deck if you've already got some vampire synergies or if you're already playing those colors. So decent, but nothing to write home about. Next we have the Sigardian paladin. So that's 2, a green, and a white for a creature human knight. This is a 4/4 at baseline. So as long as you put 1 or more +1 counters on a creature this turn, Sigardian Paladin has trample and lifelink. And then activated ability for 1 green white. You can have a target creature you control with a +1 counter on it gain trample and lifelink until end of turn as well. So let's say you're in a deck that has no +1/+1 counters whatsoever. This is just a 4/4 for 4. Fine, you know. If you do activate this ability, it's not like you're, you know, so head and shoulders, you know, ahead in the game that this is something you're gonna really want to try. Like, if you know, it's not like you want to get this card and then take every +1 counter opportunity you can in terms of the rest of the draft. I think it's going to be good. You know, trample is good, lifelink is good. The two of them together don't particularly synergize. It's not like having an attack buff plus a first strike or something like that really gets like crazy good when you have them together. I think this is all right. I mean, I think same thing. If this is in a deck where you're already kind of doing this is going to be a great enabler, and you're going to get a lot of extra life through the lifelink. So pretty good. Okay, next one we have the Skull Scab. So a blue and a black gets you a 2/2 creature zombie with exploit, and whenever a creature you control exploits a non-token creature, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So we're back to the basics with the zombies here. So the good thing about this, to make sure you pay attention to, is that the exploit ability does not just affect this creature. Because if it was just exploit and then this creature makes a 2/2 black zombie creature token, it would be kind of useless, because there would be very rare circumstances where you'd actually do this. So this is actually an exploit amplifier, meaning so every creature you have that does, you know, any exploit ability, you're also going to get this benefit and get an army of these 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Now, another important thing to note compared to the last set, Midnight Hunt. So it doesn't say that this 2/2 black zombie token has decayed. So this is actually much, much better than a decayed 2/2 zombie. So in the right deck, this is actually going to be really, really good. If you're exploiting a lot and you're getting 2/2 creatures every time you do, this is going to be fantastic. Again, it's just going to be very much middle of the road if you don't have a lot of ways to exploit. Okay, next we have the Vile Spawn Spider. So this is a 2/3 creature spider, which costs a green and a blue, and it's 2/3 reach. So at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. And then it has the ability for 2, a green and a blue, to tap and sacrifice the creature, create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each creature card in your graveyard, and you activate this only as a sorcery. So the idea here, I think, is, you know, this is a brood mother kind of a spider. It's carrying its brood on its back. The more corpses you give it to feed on, the stronger it gets. And then eventually, you know, when you have 5 or 6 corpses in the graveyard, then you can have it burst. The creature dies, but it releases its progeny, which are these 1/1 green insects tokens. So very cool flavor. I like that. So here you get a 2/3 reach for 2, which is fine. If you can really get that ability to go off, you're gonna, yeah, I mean, that's great. You know, they're not flying like the, you know, the 1/1 spirits we had on the previous example. But yeah, having green insects is decent. I think this is really going to shine if you have other ways to exploit your graveyard, because this is going to be very advantageous in terms of getting that mill every turn. If you leave this on the board for 5, 6, 7 turns, you're going to get a ton of stuff in your graveyard. You can use your graveyard recursion and so on. So overall, somewhere in the middle, and if you are able to synergize with it, it's going to be fantastic. Okay, last one. We have Wandering Mind. So this is 1, a blue and a red for a creature horror who's a 2/1 flyer at baseline. When he enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can reveal a non-creature, non-land from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is great. This is really, really good. A 2/1 flyer is very useful, and then being able to filter through 6 cards for, you know, a non-creature, non-land. I mean, who knows? Maybe you have a planeswalker, but most of the time it's going to be a spell, instant or sorcery. Obviously, that's kind of what it's intended to do because it has the classic Is It colors, which is the spells matter deck. Overall, this is great. This is a very good card. I mean, I don't think it's so good that you're going to get it and you want to build around it, but it's really, really good. If you can play this, you're going to get that advantage. You got a highly relevant 2/1 flyer, and then you get your choice of a card from your top 6. So that's all I got for you today. Anyway, stay tuned for more content. Thanks, guys.